Hello, welcome to Me and My Golf. We're your coaches, Andy and Pierce. Now it's time for the Impact Show. Pierce, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about the 3 reasons why you don't strike your irons pure. Let's take charge of your game.
Welcome to the Kingdom here in Carlsbad, California at TaylorMade HQ. Now it's December and it is swing faults month. Lots of content going on this month which is all about swing faults, and we're fixing yours. Loads on meandmygolf.com too, so make sure you check that out. Now Pierce, 3 swing faults we're talking about today.
We are.
Which really influence striking your irons pure.
Yes.
Now if we can improve all these areas, no question we're going to strike the irons better, aren't we? Before we get into those, what really are we looking to do when it comes to striking your irons better?
Well, what we're looking to do is to create a downward descent of the club head when you're striking the golf ball. So basically, when I strike the golf ball, we want the club head traveling downwards, which means I will bottom out after the golf ball. Divot will happen after the golf ball, and I'll get a beautiful low penetrating ball fly. So that's what we're after.
And we see a few things, maybe a few swing faults that really make it very difficult to actually do this. So we're going to really talk about them in order, aren't we? And we're going to start with the first one, which is club face. Club face for us is king, isn't it, really?
Okay, so we're talking about the open club face, one of the swing faults that we have out of the 14 on meandmygolf.com. Now, the open club face happens when the club face strikes the golf ball wanting to point to the right. Now, that can happen at setup. It can happen in the takeaway, it can happen at the top of the backswing and into all these areas. Now what happens is when the club face gets open, you then have to build compensations in to square the face up. And with that compensation I've just done there's no way I'm going to strike the golf ball solid.
It's very hard, isn't it? So look, obviously setup is key, we know that. But from setup to actually just starting the golf swing, starting it off right is so important, because if you can just get it off to the right start, it makes things a lot easier. So talk us a little bit about that.
It sure does. Okay, so we're going to talk about setup and the move away. So the first thing is make sure you are aiming square. So an alignment stick on the ground, drag the club across. That's the first point that you should check. Then from there, when we go into this move away section, so this is kind of how we want the move away to look. So you can see the club is rotating, the club face is rotating, but it's not excessively rotating. When we see this position here, then you're in a little bit of trouble. You've got to do a lot of those compensations, as we say, in the downswing. So what we're after is a club face that looks a little bit more like that.
Rotating less, basically.
Rotating less, absolutely. So we've got a little gizmo here. That's actually filtered in from Training Aids month, last month. So this is the TGT from Da Vinci Sports. So what I do with this, which we really love, Andy, is we can hook it around the trail wrist. And if I open the face, you can see, look, I've lost connection there. If I keep the club face looking in a square position, we can see, look at that, I'm maintaining connection.
Much better, isn't it?
So this is really good to get the feeling. Now, for a lot of people, that'll feel very closed when they're swinging the club face back. Good. That's exactly what we want you to do. Get that club face closed.
So if we can start off with this club moving away better, it just gives us a much better chance, Pierce. It's almost the starting point, isn't it, for us being able to move better through the golf ball?
It sure is, and you can see that's the sort of things that we'll get people to do to start with, is just to hit those little low punches. You can see I've maintained that position through there.
And a nice low ball flight as well on that one.
Strike as well.
Yeah,
actually.
not bad.
Very good.
We now have the club face working properly, Pierce. Now, we know now we have a reason to move with the body, but people still aren't necessarily moving. Now, we're talking about the hanging back. Now, the hanging back is really important, or is really influential on the strike. Now, talk about the hanging back before we get into the next drill.
Okay, so hanging back is quite self-explanatory, but we are going to show you from the top of the backswing. Hanging back happens when you keep the weight on that trail side, don't transfer through to the lead side. And look, I'm bottoming out before the golf ball, which is everything that we said that we don't want to do if we want to hit the golf ball pure. We need to get towards that lead side to get that downward attack.
So we're really shifting that bottom of the swing this way.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have a drill that the guys can do at home?
Of course we do. So Andy has chopped my favourite tennis ball in half. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to place it underneath where the lead heel would be. So my left heel goes on the tennis ball like so. Now from here I get to the top of my backswing. Now I've hardly got any pressure on that lead foot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply pressure into that lead foot straight away. So even with my hands still in the air, I'm going to push into that lead leg, into the tennis ball. I'm trying to squash it into the ground, and then I'm going to turn my body. just the feeling of getting to the top and then pushing and stamping that foot into the ground almost is making me move, as you can see towards the target, and then I rotate through.
So you can see you're shifting the pressure to that side, and again, getting right up onto the toe. This is a real key place to be when you finish the shot there as well. Notice how his spikes are facing to the camera back there. So, okay, Piers, so let me see you squash that tennis ball and squash that golf ball as well.
Again, look at that flight, beautiful.
And just hold it there. You can see now all the weight on his lead leg, spikes facing that way. That's a good one.
That's a nice one, look at that.
Right, we're 2 down.
Okay.
1 more to go, Piers. You're almost there. You're almost there.
Almost there.
So look, early release. Let's talk a little bit about the early release, because we know, again, often coupled with the open club face, but because we've sorted your club face out, now we can work on the early release. Explain that, and then we'll talk about a drill.
This is probably the hardest one to change. Okay, so the early release happens when the angles we create between the shaft and the forearm are released early, and you can see when I'm hitting the golf ball now, again, in extreme cases we get the shaft very much leaned back, we bottom out before, and we get the high weak flight again.
And it's often due to an open face that we're trying to release to square the face. But if your face is good, then this should be, you've got permission now to keep this leg.
Permission to carry on, absolutely. So it's interesting you say there, Andy. So there is the club face being open, which causes it. The next thing we need to look at then, if the club face is good, is how you sequence your body. So how you use the ground. So basically, from the top of the backswing, do you move your body, do you move the legs first, then the hips, the torso? You know, do you go in that order of using ground up? And this drill is really going to help you for sure. So we call it short swing lag, and it literally is where you do a short swing here and then stop, and then from here you're going to hit the golf ball. Now the only way that you can hit the golf ball from here is you will not just pull your arms down. The intention of hitting the ball a certain amount of distance makes you then go, well, I'm going to go up again. I'm going to have a little kick start with the hands, but I'm also going to get my hips going. So as the hands go up, the hips go towards the target, and then you swing through. And the sequence you create on such a short swing is fantastic. It really is.
It creates that sort of club trailing, which is the key thing from this. And it's not easy. It takes some practice. But
it does.
Piers is going to demonstrate this beautifully.
So we swing back here. I'm just going to do one more demo. Then from there, again, I'm going to get my low body going first. And you saw the hands. Look at them. They're going up, and then they'll come through. Okay, so it's only going to go about 100 yards, 110 yards. Swing back, stop, and then hit through.
Very nice.
Maybe about 130 actually.
And you'll see on the replay there how much that club is sort of being delayed. The lower body's engaged first, Piers.
To be fair, that's something I don't struggle with, I suppose.
No.
Maybe get too much of it.
So now you're striking your irons pure, check out our latest video, our Me and My Golf weekly video uploaded to meandmygolf.com, where you can learn how to move your hips like a tour pro.
Yes, so to go there, click on the link in the corner, and also if you have any comments at all about Swing Faults Month, post them down below, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, guys.